following presentation contains a fictional emergency alert system, EAS, scenario created for creative, educational, and entertainment purposes only. This scenario is not an actual alert, warning, or activation of the emergency alert system. Any resemblance to real-world emergencies, events, or broadcasts is purely coincidental. This fictional scenario may include authentic EAS tones, broadcast alerts, and real siren sounds. Please be aware that these elements are used strictly for dramatic effect. Misuse of EAS tones, alerts, or siren audio outside of a controlled and clearly fictional environment may cause public confusion, fear, or widespread panic. Such misuse is taken seriously and, under federal law in the United States, may be considered a criminal offense. The creators of this scenario strongly advise that it be treated as a work of fiction only. It must not be redistributed, transmitted, or broadcast in a manner that could be mistaken for a genuine emergency message. Listener and viewer discretion is advised.
Mortal Kombat has always been and always will be. For millennia, the forces of good and evil have been locked in eternal battle over the control of Earthrealm. Some seek to use the tournament to destroy all that is good. Others seek vengeance, power, or eternal life. Time after time, each individual threat has been vanquished, and Earthrealm has enjoyed relative peace for many years. But there is concern that Earth is once again in peril. And this time, the threat of evil has two faces. It is now known that the sorcerer Quan Chi has escaped from the Netherrealm. Since his escape, Quan Chi has unlocked the secret of the ancient runestone, discovered the ancient undefeatable army of the long-forgotten Dragon King, and most disturbing of all, formed an alliance with one of our deadliest enemies, Shang Tsung. With their combined strength, they plotted to overpower the only two beings who could prevent their total domination of the two realms. The first was the Emperor of Outworld, Shao Kahn. In a false show of allegiance, they sprung their attack. They then traveled to Earthrealm by way of a mystical portal known only to sorcerers and deities. There, they confronted Earth's mightiest warrior and champion of Mortal Kombat, Liu Kang. Quan Chi's assistance, he achieved this goal. Liu Kang is dead. They have since returned to Outworld and are using the souls of conquered warriors to resurrect the Dragon King's undefeatable army. Should they succeed, they will have the means to conquer Outworld and eventually Earthrealm. They will be unstoppable. I can no longer stand idly by and watch this evil consume the world. I have relinquished my status as Elder God to return to Earth and lead you all to battle against our old adversaries. We must act now. We must stop this deadly alliance.
Oh. Starting to rain now. Just a few drops tapping against the ground. Like a world is remembering something it almost forgot. I haven't seen rain in years. Not like this. It feels unreal. I can't quite explain. I just needed to check. To feel it for myself. To make sure it's real. I'm going outside now. I want to feel the rain on my skin, hear it properly, not through walls or glass. If this is really happening, I don't want to miss a second of it. I'll keep recording.
What's that bell sound coming from?
Your brother's soul is mine.
What are you? Why the heck are you following me? Help!
You do it next.
Your attention, please. This is the Alberta Emergency Public Warning System. The following emergency bulletin may affect your area. Emergency warning message has been broadcast for your safety. If your area is affected, take all necessary precautions and listen to any local radio, television, or cable outlet for further updates. Do not use your telephone for the duration of this emergency.
This message is transmitted at the request of federal and provincial authorities. Authorities are currently responding to a rapidly escalating situation involving mass disappearances across multiple regions of Ontario and neighboring provinces. Reports confirm that the majority of those missing are individuals between the ages of 7 and 18. Emergency services have recovered several bodies under highly unusual conditions. Victims have been described as severely pale, physically weakened, and exhibiting accelerated aging inconsistent with known medical conditions. The cause of these effects is currently unknown and under urgent investigation. Residents are advised that this situation is considered extremely dangerous and unpredictable. Effective immediately, the following measures are in place. All residents must remain indoors between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. Avoid all unnecessary travel, especially during nighttime hours. Keep all doors and windows locked and secured at all times. Do not respond to unfamiliar voices, sounds, or disturbances outside your residence during restricted hours. Report any unusual activity, sightings, or disappearances to local authorities immediately. Law enforcement and military units have been deployed across affected areas to maintain order and enforce public safety directives. Martial law is now in effect. Anyone found outside during restricted hours without authorization will be detained. Parents and guardians are strongly urged to keep children indoors at all times and under close supervision. This is an evolving situation. Further instructions will be provided as more information becomes available. Do not spread rumors or unverified information. Rely only on official broadcasts such as this one. Stay tuned to local radio and television stations for continuous updates.
BBC World Service abruptly interrupted its regular programming late tonight following shocking reports concerning the death of Liu Kang. The emergency broadcast began with static interference and a cold warning tone before presenters confirmed that Liu Kang had been found dead inside a remote temple complex earlier in the evening. Authorities at the scene stated that the circumstances surrounding his death remain unclear, and investigators have not identified any suspect or motive. Officials described the scene as heavily damaged, with signs of a violent struggle having taken place shortly before his body was discovered. According to the BBC, emergency responders arrived after nearby residents reported hearing loud impacts and unusual disturbances coming from the isolated structure during the night. Several witnesses claimed they saw unidentified individuals leaving the area shortly before authorities sealed off the location, though these reports remain unverified. Law enforcement agencies refuse to speculate on whether the killing was politically motivated, personal, or part of a larger coordinated attack. Throughout the broadcast, presenters repeatedly emphasized that the identity of Liu Kang's killer remains completely unknown. As news of the assassination spread internationally, large crowds reportedly gathered outside temples, memorial sites, and public squares across several countries to pay tribute. Security was increased around sensitive locations while governments quietly monitored the growing public reaction. Analysts appearing during the emergency coverage described Liu Kang's death as one of the most mysterious and significant killings in recent memory due to both the brutality of the scene and the complete lack of information surrounding the attacker. Investigators reportedly recovered very little evidence from the site itself. Officials stated that surveillance systems near the temple had either malfunctioned or stopped recording shortly before the incident occurred, leaving authorities with almost no visual record of what happened inside. The lack of clear evidence only intensified public fear and speculation. Rumors rapidly spread online claiming multiple possible suspects, but none of these claims were confirmed during the broadcast. The BBC concluded the emergency report by stating that authorities were continuing investigations throughout the night and urged the public to avoid spreading misinformation while facts were still being gathered. Before returning briefly to silence and static, the final statement from the broadcaster simply read, "At this time, the individual responsible for the death of Liu Kang remains unknown."
Deception is in us all.
It will summon you. It will challenge you. consume you. Mortal Kombat Deception online for PlayStation 2 and Xbox. Rated M for mature.
Oh, that's huge!
Ooh, hair gel.
Work it. That's right. Yeah. Ooh, that's a good-looking donkey.
Hey, you're not as clean as you think. Count on Dial antibacterial protection to wash away germs. Look for Shrek body wash and hand soap inspired by the movie.
You're one sexy beast. Really? No.
Oh, aren't you glad you used Dial?
It's time to play. Right now, save up to $12 off with coupons from CVS. Six Flags New England. It's playtime.
Are those tofu dogs done yet?
Is it done?
Is transmitted at the request of civil authorities. A civil emergency has been issued across New York City. We have detected multiple bodies and anomalies across the state. The bodies have a pale, purple-like skin and have been found beneath the central city, with most of these discoveries taking place during the early morning hours. Due to the unpredictability and the rapid rate of this genocidal crisis, you are strongly advised to stay indoors at all times and avoid unnecessary exposure to the outside environment. If you are required to go outside for any reason, it is recommended that you use a vehicle at all times and avoid remaining in open or isolated areas. The United States government has issued a state of emergency and will enable mandatory martial law for the safety of our people. From 8 p.m. to 7 a.m., you are not allowed to go outside under any circumstances. These measures are being enforced to prevent a situation in which many people may be placed at serious risk. Refusal to comply with these orders will result in you endangering those around you and may lead to immediate detainment by authorities. We have also been informed by the Canadian government that mysterious entities may have been responsible for these events. This situation will continue to be investigated to determine whether these are anomalies or a larger unknown phenomenon. Please remain calm, stay indoors, and be cautious at all times while awaiting further instructions.
I'm still asking myself, who the hell is causing all the chaos across the country? It has spread to other places as well. Liu Kang is also dead at the Wuxi Academy grounds. Who can be responsible for this?
Sir, when Liu Kang was assassinated, who do you think wanted his soul?
I am the Thunder God Raiden.
Raiden, what are you doing here?
Shang Tsung and Quan Chi are responsible for Liu Kang's assassination. Their greed and hunger for power may become their weakness. If they turn against one another, we may still be able to stop the Dragon King before he becomes unstoppable. Nevertheless, I am preparing an assault on the two sorcerers in Outworld. Though they have already killed Earthrealm's greatest hero, Liu Kang, I am gathering together the few warriors I feel I can trust to attack this deadly alliance at their stronghold.
then we must make haste. We must not dwell here any longer.
Good evening. We have discovered the cause of these fatalities across the states, and the findings are deeply concerning. 2 entities, one covered with a mask, with no visible eyes, brown in appearance and concealed beneath what appear to be layers of worn fabric or material, and the other with a distinct blue skin tone and piercing orange eyes, have been identified as Moloch and Raman. Their presence alone poses a significant threat, but the situation has grown far more alarming. We have also uncovered a chilling development, the identification of the 2 sorcerers responsible for Liu Kang's death at the Wuxi Academy grounds, Shang Tsung and Quan Chi. These individuals are not only extremely dangerous but are now confirmed to be working in coordination with the previously identified entities. This combined force has formed a deadly alliance, with intentions that appear to extend far beyond isolated attacks, indicating a calculated plan to seize full control of this planet. Intelligence suggests that their actions are strategic, coordinated, and escalating in both scale and impact. Due to this rapidly evolving threat, the Federal Emergency Management Agency will be contacting the United Nations to initiate a global emergency response. International cooperation is now considered critical, and contingency protocols are being activated worldwide. Desperate measures may be required should the situation escalate further, including coordinated defense and containment efforts on an unprecedented scale. The United Nations is currently mobilizing resources and preparing to confront and eliminate these entities before their objectives can be realized. Military, scientific, and intelligence divisions across multiple nations are being placed on high alert as the global community braces for potential further developments. We will continue to monitor the situation closely and will provide updates as more information becomes available.
The first rule of the con is you can't cheat an honest man.
He's greedy. Regularly makes the top 500 richest. I'll get the tip. But would cross the street to pick up a £1 coin.
The only way this thing works is if you want something for nothing.
Well, we give you nothing for something.
Laws were made to be broken.
I thought you could have been one of those con men. There you go. I can't believe I said that.
I'm not sure I can either.
Hustle. The con is on. Tuesday at 9. BBC One.
This is Catherine Tate.
It's me programme. Oh, it's on now. Oh, I love this, I do. Oh, you seen this? That fat girl off Emmerdale. Huge big flame.
You've been framed?
Yeah.
The Catherine Tate Show. Monday at 10. New comedy on BBC Two.
This is BBC One, celebrating the best of BBC Three.
3 is a magic number. Yes, it is. That's a magic number.
This is BBC Three on BBC One, and there's strong language now, which isn't exactly unusual for Jordan. It's the final part of our documentary series on the girl of the moment, and then next up, Dr. Marsden brings us the wheres and wherefores of love in Body Hits.
Would lose my breath. So I reckon Eminem might just find himself on top of the lot with Lose It. As well as that, we've got entries from Jamelia and Usher. It's going to be a massive UK Top 40. Make sure you don't miss it. And if that isn't enough, we also want to give you some UK Top 40 goodies. All you need to do is tell us, where do you think Destiny's Child will chart this week? Okay, all you need to do is text UK Top and your guess to 62222. That's 62222. Where do you reckon? Top 20, top 10, or maybe even number 1? It's up to you. If you get it right, we'll send you loads of UK Top 40 goodies. That is your lot from me here on CBBC 1 today, but I will be back over on CBBC 2 from 6 o'clock with all your favourites. Have a lovely Saturday. I'll see you tomorrow.
Follow where the river flows, and she shall tell you all she knows.
Mystery and magic are all around, with both good and evil to be found. But not for her the time to...
message is transmitted at the request of the United Kingdom. The United States has discovered the cause of these fatalities. This message is transmitted at the request of the United Kingdom. The United States has discovered the cause of these fatalities across and other affected regions. 2 entities have been identified. One is described as being covered with flies, wearing a mask with no visible eyes, and having brown skin. The other entity has orange eyes and blue skin. These entities have been identified as Moloch and Dramin. Not only that, but there are also 2 other entities that have been spotted and confirmed responsible for the assassination of Liu Kang at the Wuxi Academy, identified as Shang Tsung and Quen Chi. These entities have formed a so-called deadly alliance, planning to take full control of this planet and eliminate any resistance that may stand in their way due to this. International authorities, including federal emergency agencies and global leadership, are now working together to address what has become a worldwide crisis. The situation continues to escalate, and there is concern that conventional methods may not be sufficient to contain the threat. As a result, discussions are underway regarding the potential use of last resort weapons should the situation reach the verge of total defeat. Furthermore, world leaders are preparing to take direct action against these entities in an effort to push back and eliminate the threat before it spreads further. Citizens across all affected regions are advised to remain indoors, avoid contact with unknown individuals or entities, and follow all official instructions issued by local authorities. We will provide updates as more information becomes available.
including water, non-perishable food, medical kits, and This emergency meeting has been called because of the severity of the invasion of Outworld that has already damaged multiple locations around the world and threatens to lead humanity into a worldwide collapse. Reports from Europe, Asia, Africa, North America, South America, and Oceania confirm that entire cities are either under attack or have gone silent completely. Governments are struggling to maintain order while military forces continue to suffer heavy losses against hostile entities. The United Nations Security Council has therefore declared this an Omega-level global emergency. All remaining world leaders and military officials have been gathered to decide the next course of action before the situation becomes irreversible.
Sir, it appears that we are now out of DEFCON 3 options and are left with very few remaining choices. Conventional military resistance has failed in several regions. Air support has become increasingly ineffective due to unknown atmospheric disturbances surrounding the entities. Naval evacuations in some coastal areas have disappeared from radar contact without explanation. At this point, we are left with only 3 remaining possibilities. The use of nuclear bombs against infected and occupied territories, the deployment of bacterial countermeasures designed to kill off the entities, or continuing direct military engagement and pushing forward with conventional warfare despite worsening casualties.
The bacterial countermeasure proposal has been reviewed by scientific advisors. Initial testing suggests that the bacteria could spread beyond projected containment zones, unprojected containment zones, and potentially threaten Notion humanity itself. If released globally, the cure may become as dangerous as the invasion. Some officials believe it could wipe out both the entities and human civilization and disarence together. Because of this uncertainty, several nations have objected to the bacterial proposal and instead support immediate nuclear deployment.
The representative of the United States stated that if humanity delays further action, the survival of civilization itself may be placed at risk. Russian officials agreed, arguing that hesitation would only allow the entities to expand deeper into remaining population centers. However, representatives from the United Kingdom, France, Brazil, and several African nations warned that nuclear strikes across heavily populated areas could result in millions of civilian deaths and long-term radioactive devastation that would scar the Earth for generations. Would scar... Seed. As tensions inside the chamber increased, multiple delegates began arguing simultaneously over whether humanity should continue fighting or prepare for extinction-level retaliation. Military commanders insisted that time was rapidly running out, and that every hour of delay allowed the invasion to spread further. Several delegates questioned whether humanity still had a realistic chance of survival at all. We do not have a choice but to use nuclear bombs. If we increase the bacterial strain, humanity itself may perish, and countless innocent people may be killed alongside the entities. Though nuclear warfare may devastate entire regions, many leaders now believe it is the final remaining option, capable of slowing the invasion long enough for survivors to evacuate and reorganize.
Very well. The motion has now been made. All Parliament and Council members will cast their votes regarding the authorization of nuclear weapons against Outworld-controlled territories. The motion has officially passed. Strategic military commands across multiple nations have now been informed. Nuclear launch preparation procedures are currently underway. Estimated impact time for the first strikes is expected within the next 48 hours. This meeting is now adjourned. May history remember that humanity fought until the very end.
station is experiencing a state of emergency broadcast suspension. During this emergency broadcast suspension, the normal weather broadcast cycle, which typically provides outlooks on hazardous weather and weekly forecasts, has been suspended indefinitely. Instead, only messages related to the current state of emergency and statements from the United States government and Federal Emergency Management Agency will be broadcasted. Currently, a national emergency action notification is in effect for the entire United States, including Alaska, Hawaii, and U.S. territories, and will remain in effect until a national emergency action termination broadcast is issued. For those just joining the broadcast, this alert will be retransmitted shortly. This hour will be retransmitted shortly for listeners just now joining the broadcast. Please stand by.
This is a message from the United States government and the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Please listen carefully to the following details. This message is authorized to transmit on behalf of the United States government. Over the past several days, hostile entities identified as targets have continued to spread across multiple regions of the country at an uncontrollable rate. Reports from emergency responders, law enforcement agencies, and military forces describe widespread attacks against civilian populations, resulting in catastrophic destruction and unprecedented loss of life. Current estimates indicate that over 1 billion injuries and more than 30,000 confirmed fatalities have occurred as major metropolitan areas descend into chaos. Entire cities have been reduced to ruins. Major highways are now blocked with abandoned vehicles, debris, and mass casualty incidents, preventing evacuation efforts in many regions. Hospitals have exceeded capacity, emergency services are collapsing under the scale of the crisis, and communications infrastructure has become severely disrupted. Multiple military divisions have been deployed nationwide, however the targets continue advancing despite sustained resistance. Witnesses describe the entities as highly aggressive humanoid creatures possessing extreme physical strength, razor-sharp appendages, and coordinated attack patterns. Numerous attempts to neutralize them through conventional military operations have failed. Entire battalions have reportedly gone silent after direct engagements. Air support operations continue in several regions, but conditions on the ground are deteriorating rapidly. Due to the severity of the situation and the growing threat of total national collapse, the President of the United States, in coordination with military command authorities, has authorized a full nuclear bombardment targeting multiple infected countries and heavily overrun regions. These strikes are expected to commence within the next 2 hours. Government officials state that this decision was made after all other containment measures failed. Citizens are strongly advised to seek immediate underground shelter. Move as far away from doors, windows, rooftops, and exposed structures as possible. If available, relocate to reinforced basements, bunkers, subway tunnels, underground parking facilities, or designated fallout shelters. Carry a hand-cranked or battery-powered radio, food, bottled water, flashlights, blankets, medical supplies, sanitation equipment, and any essential necessities capable of sustaining survival for a minimum of 3 weeks. Individuals unable to access shelter should avoid major roads, population centers, and areas experiencing military engagement. If conditions permit, military personnel and emergency response teams may attempt transportation of civilians to designated emergency safe zones. However, transportation cannot be guaranteed due to ongoing attacks and collapsing infrastructure. Following the nuclear strikes, widespread fallout, electromagnetic disruptions, fires, and communication blackouts are expected throughout large portions of North America and surrounding regions. Citizens are advised not to leave shelter unless instructed by emergency broadcasts or military authorities. Remain calm. Conserve resources. Avoid unnecessary travel. Continue monitoring local television stations and OAA weather radio broadcasts, emergency frequencies, and remaining media outlets for further information and survival instructions. Normal programming has been suspended to deliver emergency information for your area.
After all these long years, I have finally found the last of the Kamidogu. My quest is almost at an end.
What is ending is your meddling in the affairs of the Elder Gods, mortal.
Scorpion!
Yes, and I remember you as well. We met in the Netherrealm. I taught you my fighting skills. Now I will give you your final lesson. Fight!
I have defeated him. Now I am free to complete my quest. I do not understand. The Kamidogu should have been transported to the Elder Gods. Why is it not happening?
Because you have not completely finished the quest.
What are you?
Ah, yes. Familiar words. Perhaps this will help you to understand.
Damashi! What has he done to you? Let him go!
Shujinko, please save me! Oh, fool! Damashi does not exist. The avatar you see before you is merely a projection of my consciousness. I manipulated this astral puppet from beyond the boundaries of death, and in turn, manipulated you. I deceived you into bringing me the means of attaining ultimate mastery over reality.
So it seems that I have indeed known you all these years. Then by what name shall I call you now? Tell me who you really are, demon.
I am Onaga, the Dragon King of Outworld and soon-to-be ruler of all that exists. I must thank you for bringing me so much power. The Kamidogu are mine!
You may have them. They do nothing. You have wasted your time. Nothing happened when I placed them all on the altar.
Not all. If you had found the last piece, the altar would have transported them to the Elder Gods. But the last piece is currently in Outworld in the possession of a fool sorcerer. I will deal with him later. For now, I will take these artifacts you have so dutifully collected for me. I am afraid they will not make it into the hands of the Elder Gods after all. And so, Shujinko, your quest is done. Prepare for death.
The Dragon King has not emerged from the portal. Perhaps he has lost interest in pursuing me. More likely, he has gone to Outworld and will confront the sorcerer who possesses the last remaining object. I have been a fool. Blinded by the lure of adventure, I have endangered the realms and betrayed the Elder Gods. The blame is mine alone. What have I done?
Sir, did the bombs work? Yes, sir. The Tarkatans have been destroyed, and the two sorcerers have retreated.
How is the situation in the other worlds? Outworld and the realms!
They are nearly lost, sir. Raiden is the only one attempting to stop them before the corrupted armies become unstoppable.
Who are you?
I am Shujinko. I have come to warn you of a new threat. I was deceived into collecting the Kamidogu for the Dragon King himself. I was a fool.
What are you talking about?
Onaga, former Emperor of Outworld. The Dragon King has returned.
No, it cannot be.
Raiden is currently in Outworld. However, his efforts may be in vain. The Deadly Alliance will betray one another, and the Dragon King will claim Quan Chi's amulet. Onaga gave me the power to absorb the abilities of every warrior I encountered. I am the only one who understands what he is capable of.
All right. Let's do this. This is our only chance, Shujinko, for us, for the Earth. You are the hope of this universe. Get ready, everyone. We will leave and fight tomorrow.
It was not by chance that this struggle came to be. The blame falls squarely upon my shoulders for giving evil the chance it needed, and therefore fulfilling an ancient prophecy. Raiden's Earthrealm champions had failed to stop the Deadly Alliance from fully resurrecting the mummified army of the Dragon King. In the end, only Raiden himself stood between Earthrealm and total destruction. Defying the Elder God's wishes, he alone challenged Quan Chi and Shang Tsung in mortal combat, Earthrealm's last hope for freedom. Raiden fought well against the two sorcerers, and it seemed as though victory was at hand. But the combined might of Quan Chi and Shang Tsung proved to be overwhelming, even for a Thunder God. Raiden was defeated. The Deadly Alliance had won. Their victory was short-lived. As suspicion and lust for power overcame both Quan Chi and Shang Tsung, the former allies turned on each other. The Deadly Alliance was no more. Quan Chi defeated Shang Tsung and reveled in his conquest. But it is said that there is only one true ruler of Outworld. And that ruler had returned. Onaga, former Emperor of Outworld, the Dragon King. The prophecy had been fulfilled. The Dragon King had indeed returned to Outworld to reclaim his army and impose his dominance. Death awaited all who stood in his way. And so it was that a new alliance was formed out of desperation. Sworn enemies joined forces to combat a greater threat. Raiden began to realize that even their combined might was not enough to defeat the Dragon King. There was only one chance left. Raiden's sacrifice was in vain, for the blast had little effect on the Dragon King. Now Onaga has what he needs to shape the realms as he sees fit. I was the fool who brought him this power. Only I can destroy this threat, born of deception.
This is an emergency alert system message. Please listen carefully to the following information. This message is transmitted at the request of the United States government. The nuclear bombs have destroyed the threat of Tarkatans have been destroyed, and the two entities, Quan Chai and Shang Tsung, have retreated. Following multiple days of conflict, military operations across several affected regions have reported a significant decrease in hostile activity. Areas previously overwhelmed by attacks are now being secured by emergency personnel and military units. Search and rescue operations are continuing throughout impacted cities as crews work around the clock to locate survivors and restore damaged infrastructure. Initial reports indicate that the immediate threat posed by the Tarkatan invasion has ended. However, a new threat has come upon us. The Dragon King Onaga has returned and plans to dominate the Earth and other realms, eventually merging with ours. Information gathered from recovered documents, eyewitness accounts, and ongoing investigations suggests that this threat greatly exceeds previous projections. Unlike earlier hostile entities, this threat does not appear to be limited to conventional warfare or territorial conquest. Current intelligence suggests that Onaga's objective involves the domination of multiple realities and the complete restructuring of existence itself. Military and scientific personnel are continuing efforts to determine the full extent of this threat. Strange events have already begun to be reported in several regions, including unusual atmospheric disturbances, unexplained energy readings, and temporary environmental abnormalities. Citizens are advised to remain observant and report any unusual activity to local authorities. We strongly believe that Shujinko, who has been deceived by Onaga, has the power of every living being. Current information indicates that Shujinko may possess abilities acquired throughout his journey and may be capable of standing against the Dragon King. Investigators believe that despite previously being manipulated, he may now represent one of humanity's strongest opportunities to stop Onaga before his plans can be completed. The United States is not surrendering, but rather offering a last stand in case Shujinko fails. Military forces remain active and operational throughout the nation, while defensive measures continue to be organized in preparation for further developments. Government officials continue to coordinate with international partners and remaining resistance forces. Residents may exit their shelters. Continue exercising caution and remain prepared for changing conditions. Keep emergency supplies accessible and continue monitoring local stations for updates regarding this developing situation. This message will continue as more information becomes available.
Enough of this bloodshed. Let us reunite and fight the Dragon King.
Fight! Shujinko wins. Round 2. Fight! Shujinko wins.
His message is transmitted at the request of the United States government. Please stand by for an important update regarding the national emergency situation. The emergency condition previously issued for the threat involving the Dragon King Onaga has now been terminated. After ongoing conflict and widespread uncertainty across multiple regions, reports indicate that Shujinko has successfully defeated Onaga and prevented his attempt to dominate Earth and merge the realms. The threat responsible for the recent state of emergency is no longer considered active. Military forces and emergency response agencies have confirmed the rapid decline in abnormal activity associated with the crisis. Previously detected disturbances, unexplained energy signatures, and environmental irregularities have begun returning to normal levels. Recovery and stabilization operations are currently underway in affected areas. Government agencies and international partners continue to assess damage sustained during the emergency period. Search, rescue, and restoration efforts will remain active as communities begin the process of rebuilding. Residents may resume normal activities where local authorities permit. Continue to follow instructions issued by emergency officials within your area, as some regions may still experience disruptions to transportation, communications, and essential services. The United States government extends its gratitude to emergency personnel, military forces, and all citizens who endured the crisis. The danger has passed. This concludes the emergency action message and terminates all previous alerts related to this event.
So that I would be able to defend myself during the quest to find the Kamidogu, Onaga had given me the power to absorb the fighting ability of any warrior I encountered, but his gift would prove to be his undoing. The warriors in Outworld were in disarray. Heroes were not focused on the true threat of Onaga, and villains were unaware that they were bringing about their own destruction by serving him. I united them, and in one moment absorbed their combined fighting power. I shattered each of the Kamidogu, the source of his invulnerability. This weakened Onaga, and I attacked him without mercy. His mortal form was no match for a combatant infused with the powers of so many warriors. The Dragon King was finally defeated. The realms will remain as they have since the beginning.
United Nations. The worst has come to pass. Shujinko has failed to stop Onaga from merging the realms. The balance separating worlds has been destroyed, and the universe is now collapsing onto itself. Entire cities, nations, and worlds are vanishing without warning as reality tears apart at every level. Massive dimensional fractures have opened across the planet, swallowing everything around them into endless darkness. The skies have turned black, illuminated only by violent storms, and burning riots spreading across the horizon. Across the Earth, oceans are rising with unstoppable force, consuming coastlines and flooding entire continents within hours. Mountains are collapsing. The ground is splitting open beneath major population centers. Countless people have disappeared as space and time distort beyond recognition. The sun itself has begun to pull Earth closer and closer as the fabric of existence weakens further with every passing moment. Panic and destruction have consumed what remains of civilization. Communications between surviving regions are failing rapidly. Entire military commands, emergency networks, and governments have gone silent. The United Nations has collapsed, along with nearly every remaining nation on Earth. There are no longer any organized evacuation efforts, rescue operations, or safe zones remaining. This event will trigger a Big Bang, where Onaga will be the one controlling it. All existence as we know it will be erased, and reborn under his rule. Every realm, every world, every life form, and every moment in history will be consumed in the coming collapse. There is nothing that can be done to stop this. Reports from across the globe describe the dead rising in some regions, cities disappearing into the void in others, and entire landscapes transforming into fragments of merged realms. Creatures and armies from beyond Earth continue to emerge through expanding dimensional gateways as the barriers between realities completely disintegrate. You are advised
failed to prevent me from fusing all the weapons of the Elder Gods into one. I used this ultimate weapon to warp reality, merging the realms into a singular existence. The Elder Gods were helpless as I used their own power against them in the void beyond the One Realm. Not satisfied with merely ruling the One Realm, I seized all that exists and merged it into myself. There can be only one consciousness. I am everything. I have become the One Being.
Blaze had completed the first of his duties. Soon he will begin the second, to lure warriors to the final battle. There they will challenge him, hoping to attain godlike power from his defeat. The arrogance of these warriors will be their downfall, for only a son of Edenia can unleash the true purpose of Blaze.